Welcome to Healing Chat by Delicious, everyone. I'm your host today, Samantha, and we have the beautiful Brooke Bailey with us today. So Brooke is a mother of two twin boys. She also has a young daughter. Brooke is a professional performer as well. And today we are going to be talking about the Great North Run, as Brooke is going to be doing the Great North Run. So Brooke, tell us a bit about you, who you are and what you do.
So I work professionally as a performer, so I trained in musical theatre, sing, act, dance. I do a lot of gigs when I'm not in a theatre job, and then I also teach musical theatre and dance and singing separately, lots of different things. And I have 3 children, so I'm also a mummy and kind of juggle this crazy life in one big exciting circle.
Love that. So how are you juggling training and the boys and Lola?
Yeah.
Well,
I can't stick to kind of like, I'm going to run at this time every day. I kind of just have to go, okay, we've got a window there and that's what I'm going to use.
yeah.
And I like take myself out on runs. I mean, it's been great for when I've had to learn like new songs for different jobs.
Yeah.
Because I'll just make a playlist of those songs,
And
put
run.
the headphones on and run and learn at the same time.
I love
So I'm
that.
like juggling work and running at the same time.
You know so you're talking about learning songs while you are running and
Yeah.
things like that and using that time. So before you fell pregnant the first time with the boys, she's got twins, by the way, guys. With the boys, was there a bit of something that maybe worried you, scared you about still being a performer, still being in that environment and becoming a mother, and how you were going to be able to juggle?
Yeah, I think it's kind of seen as like a lot of people don't really understand the profession. They kind of see it as like a big hobby.
Yeah.
And it is for a lot of people. It's a fantastic hobby. And I think because like dance classes and singing classes and theatre schools are so accessible for children from like such a young age, and a lot of people stay until they're like in their 20s doing it, and a lot of amateur groups, and they still perform. It is an amazing hobby for so many people, but there is also a handful of us who do it professionally. And I think kind of trying to explain to people like, I'm going to have children, the first reaction that I got from loads of people was, do you stop and work?
Right.
Well, no.
Why would I do
Why would I do that? And it kind of made me a bit angered. Like, that reaction like really irritated me. 1, because I love my job. 2, because why would I need to stop work? Like, we live in 2026, you know? I think above anything, it kind of made me more determined to like find that balance. Don't get me wrong, like kind of different jobs that I've taken have changed, but I've never stopped working.
Yeah.
I've always performed. I've always done contracts like every single year. I think I did after my daughter was born, I was in a panto contract 7 weeks later. But I love it. And I think it makes me a better parent because I'm also getting all of the endorphins that I need doing the job that I love, but then also being like with my beautiful children, and I can juggle both. And my brain kind of thrives when being busy.
Yeah.
So,
Yes. As we
Yeah.
do. So do you think as well, part of all of that, it gives you a motivation when you see your little ones looking up at you and them believing, especially Lola maybe, that they can do anything they want to do as well?
Absolutely. Nothing is off limits. I always tell them like, you can do whatever you want to do. I don't want them to grow up in a world where it's like one track. I think they need to be free to explore every avenue. My boys dance.
Love that.
They also play football. Lola dancer, she also joins in football. They can do what they want to do. Who said that it was this and that? I just think like that's the only way that we find a job and a path that actually truly makes us happy, by really doing what we want to do.
And it is so important to find that thing in life that makes you happy.
Yeah.
You can sit in a 9-to-5 job in an office and do the grueling 9-to-5 day, but you're not going to be, if you're not someone that's going to be happy in that, then you're not finding that fulfillment.
Absolutely.
So you found that fulfillment in something and rolled with it and carried on doing it.
Yeah, like life is too short to do a job that you don't like. And for everybody, there is a job out there somewhere that you like.
Yeah.
It might be a hard path to follow. Like, I think, like, for me, I'm self-employed, and that for any self-employed person is hard.
Yeah.
And I think that puts a lot of people off, and it's a lot of a lot of work, but I still love it, and it's worth it.
So self-employed side, there's those times, so obviously when probably maybe your mind does go, do I just need to get a full-time job, and do I just need to be able to support the family? Obviously you're lucky enough to have your partner to help with that as well. But is that something that maybe plays on your mind a little bit sometimes?
I think
Those times when you can't get them.
Sometimes I think.
Sorry, I'm just going to pause.
Not really that long.
No, not long at all. So you are doing the Great North Run in commemoration, in memory of your granddad? Yes. So we're going to have a little chat about that, everyone. So do you want to tell us a little about Henry Bailey, who he was, the stories that you've heard from your family?
Yeah, so it's my dad's dad. Unfortunately, I never met him. He died in the 80s. So my dad was actually only 15. My dad was the oldest of 3. So his youngest brother was only 6. So obviously a lot of the stories I've been told are like from my dad. My uncle obviously can't remember as much, but everybody who knew him said he was just a beautiful, beautiful man. And my mum's dad had known him and had said to my dad, if you're half the man that he was, then you're good enough for my daughter. So
that is beautiful. That is amazing. So you never met him, but clearly there is a part of you that he has helped to shape through your dad, through all these stories and things like that. Is there one specific story other than the one you've just told us that would stick out in something that maybe has motivated you?
I think he was just very, worked very hard to provide for his family. Like, they lived in a place that was like lots of council houses, and they were able to buy their house.
And back then that was a big
thing, which they were obviously something that they were really, really proud of. My dad and his 2 brothers have always worked really, really hard. Obviously, such a credit to my grandma as well, who was left with the boys on her own. But obviously, it stems back to this family that they've created. He's always been talked about. It's it's always been a present person, even though nobody met him.
So what do you think he would say if he knew you were doing that?
I mean, I think a lot of the family who are obviously very proud. Motor Neurons has always been a charity that we've always wanted to support. It's kind of always been a strange topic, motor neurons, within the family, because it is a genetic disease and there's not a lot of testing they can do on it. So who knows where in the gene pool has it gone? It might come back up. We don't know. It's kind of...
So for people who don't know, let's just tell the audience, tell everyone listening, what is motor neuron disease?
So a lot of people might remember it from a few years ago when it was the Ice Bucket Challenge.
Yes, I did that.
America call it ASL. Then that was the Ice Bucket Challenge was ASL, but it's the same thing. It's just we call it motor neurons here. And there's a few celebrities who've had it and have kind of made it a bit known. It kind of attacks quite quickly. People do tend to get it quite young, in their 40s, and then unfortunately just basically kind of takes everything away.
So all your functions, things like that. So it affects all your nervous system.
Everything. So it's a horrible disease. So it's
shared about much about what he feels about the disease, what it took from him. Obviously it took a massive thing from him and his brothers, their father.
Yeah, I think for him it was kind of always the fear of him having it. He's in his 60s now, so fingers crossed it's not gonna happen. But I think I know he always had a fear of finding out he had it. And as far as we know, nobody else in the family does, but it's still such a massive thing. And you don't hear a lot of people have it, but there's always somebody who maybe knows of someone who did. When I've shared that I'm doing it, there's a few people that I've said, I know my so-and-so's friend has had it. It's horrible. And I think it's...
So there's more people out there than you think that do have it.
Yeah.
So where's the money that's raised going to go? What's the specific charity, and what sort of difference do you hope that it will make?
So it's the MND charity, which is the Motor Neuron Disease charity. So through my link, it just goes directly to them. They've been amazing. I've had conversations with them about the run. They're obviously really thrilled that I'm running it for them, and it goes into research, helping families if they need it, if anybody has got the disease, and there's loads and loads of things that they do.
So have you spoke to your kids about the Great North Run? Are they excited?
I mean, they just keep asking if they can come for a run with me.
I love that.
I don't think they quite understand how long the run is.
Would you not put them in the kids one?
Maybe that would have been a good little trial for me, but I think it's the day before, so maybe that would have been a bit hard.
Maybe next year.
Maybe next year.
Maybe next year the boys can do it.
Yeah.
Maybe Darcy.
Yeah, everyone's very excited. I mean, obviously it gets showed on the telly, so I think people are like, you never know, we might be to see you running.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing.
So we did have a little chat about this. Sorry, everyone, it was before we started rolling, but let's have another one. So the Great North Run, obviously you're running through your hometown, you're running through your region.
Yeah.
So what does that mean for you?
I think as somebody from the Northeast, I feel like the North Run has always been something that, I mean, I watch it every year. Where I live is like the end of the run. So as like when I was younger, it was always like, oh, all the roads are getting closed off, ready for the run.
Yeah.
And I feel like everybody just knows about the North Run.
Yeah, definitely.
It's like so iconic. So one, as runs go, it's an iconic run. But two, to be from the Northeast, I feel like it's something that you kind of like need to do at some point in your life.
I mean, I'll leave it to you to do it. Maybe. Yeah. I do know what you mean, though. I absolutely agree. Like, it's a big, iconic run. Everyone knows about it. If you're from Newcastle, Shield, Sunderland, wherever it is in the Northeast, you go out on the street and you see it happening. Or you can be one of them people that are complaining because it's closing your roads off and you can't get away. Yeah. Whatever it is a great thing. And there's so many amazing charities people are running for, so many amazing things. But the training, how is it going? Has there been any moments you were going to quit?
I mean, like, even after my first ever run, I was like, why?
So Brooke started training until she had signed up.
So my theory was kind of, if I sign up and get a place, that will give me the motivation to train.
I like that.
I wasn't a runner at all before that. So I needed the place to actually run.
Yeah.
But it has worked because I would not have run. I still would not have run if I didn't have that place. Whereas now I'm like, I have to. Like, I have to. And then I think when people started donating to my page, I was like, okay, people have actually donated now. Like, it's not just for me. Like, these people are like relying on me doing this run.
Yeah, so that's all the things that were pulling you through, that motivation.
Yeah.
So what do you think is going to cross your mind as you run across that bridge, the time bridge?
That bit, I feel like that bit, I'll be like, woo, it's just started, like, we're going.
You'll still have all the energy.
And then maybe like halfway through, I might be like, oh, what have I done? But then at the end, it'll be really exciting. Everybody keeps telling me that because there's people all the way along cheering, that the adrenaline really just keeps you going for the whole thing. My sister-in-law is running as well. So I'm hoping that we can maybe be together.
Yeah. Have you got a pacekeeper or anyone running with you?
Well, there's just me and her who we know. Well, I know a few friends who are doing it, but we've kind of like, every time we run, we like send a photo of each other to each other. Like, I've run, have you run today? So I'm hoping that we can work it out so that we can meet and kind of finish together.
Yeah, that'll be nice.
So that'll be nice.
Yeah, that'll be really nice. So let's change it up a little bit. It is the healing chat after all. So grief for someone you never met is underrated. It's a different type of thing. It's a different type of grief. Like, I massively understand that from what you're saying is I never met my dad's dad either. He died when my dad was 14. Yeah. So it's very, very similar stories. But what do you think this journey, you doing this for him and maybe learning a bit more about him through doing it, has changed your relationship with that idea of a grief that you never knew?
I think it's like, it's a total different kind of grief. It's like, I don't even know if I would call it a grief. It's more like a kind of a pride. Like, you know, when you, like, so-and-so would be so proud of you. And like, and people always say that, don't they? Like, when you're growing up and things. And I think I found it like with my work, like, oh, he would be so proud of you. Yes. And then, but now this is something specifically for him. It's like a total different type of feeling to kind of think like this one person who I've never met is actually inspired like a whole life cycle of events. And then at 31, I'm like doing this.
Joining in on it. I love that. It's kind of, as well, it's like you say, it's not a grief. It's almost as well as part of you that I would say miss, but like you wish you had that opportunity to meet them, to understand them. Do you think, you agree? Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
So what has this whole experience as well taught you about self-care, why you sort of carrying all these emotions? You are a mother, you're teaching at the moment, you're teaching a summer school. So you're teaching a summer school of kids, you're going home to your own kids. you've got all of these things going on, you're training. How are you finding time to look after yourself?
Yeah, it's a lot. But actually, like in a strange way, like when I am training and I'm running and I can kind of like pick my music, pick my playlist, like it is a little bit of my own kind of time anyway.
Yes.
As much as I'm like some days, like especially in the heat, it's like not, well, once you're into it, it's fine. But actually, it's like you get home and you're like absolutely dripping. But I do quite like that kind of like moment of peace where it's like my own song choice, my headphones in. I don't know what else is happening, but like I like to run. I can see the greenery. It's peaceful.
Yeah.
Like, as crazy as that might sound.
No, I get that.
Yeah.
It's like taking that moment out of your own day, isn't it? Whether you're doing it by listening to music, cooking something,
Yeah.
or everyone has their own version
Yeah.
of self-care, I
Yeah.
suppose. And I don't know if maybe for you a little bit being on stage is a little bit of that
absolutely.
self-care as well.
I do find that like when I'm teaching as well, like I do love like kind of like I'm very passionate about the stage and about the theatre. So when I'm teaching and kind of being able to like pass over bits of that passion,
Yeah.
like, that gives me like self-care and self-love
Yeah.
as well.
It's a little bit of pride again.
Yeah, it
it's
is.
that little bit of being able to pass something on, isn't it?
Yeah.
So like your granddad almost passed this ambition over to
Yeah.
you. You're now carrying that on and passing that over.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love that. I do. I really love that. So what sort of one thing you would say to someone who's listening who wants to honour a loved one but doesn't really know where to start with that?
I think to make sure, like, I know that for us, like motor neurons is it's always been talked about. So choosing that as the specific charity that I wanted to run for was like a really humbling moment. Like when I told my dad, he was like, oh, you've chosen that charity. Like, that's amazing. Like, thank you so much. And I think even like my dad and my uncles, that they kind of like, I feel like they're like, that's also for them, like, because it's their dad.
Yeah.
And I think like honoring them in that way and kind of knowing that you can help the future generation, like by giving to a charity that is linked to them, is a massive thing.
Yeah, definitely. Do you think as you sort of see the boys get older and things like that, you'll speak to them about things like this a bit more and you'll sort of pass that down as well?
Yeah, absolutely. Like, I hope so. I think it's really important to kind of pass everything down.
So I saw the most beautiful photo the other day of you on the stage with your daughter in front of you looking up at the big stage. And it just made us think, like, you have done so well at balancing all these different million parts of your life. Is there times you struggle with that, though?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I've always loved my work, and I know obviously when you have children, like there is always a massive compromise between like everybody's like work-life balance. But luckily with my work being like so on stage and a lot of people can come to see me at work, which is such a weird thing, like how many people can go and watch you at work. I've been really lucky to be able to kind of like incorporate my kids and like my husband and everything like into one bracket, so they kind of just know it as like a mummy's work.
So those times when maybe you don't have those bookings coming in and things like that, I bet there is that voice in the back of your head saying, why haven't you just got my full-time job? Why are you risking it all?
Yeah, absolutely. I think especially when you like social media is the worst for like seeing like people doing loads of holidays and loads of this. I think, oh, but they like as a couple might have two like guaranteed wages every month, and like so we have one guaranteed wage in my house and I earn whoever knows whatever every month. Like, but also there's like, I'm very lucky that I have a very, very supportive husband, and he's never, ever, ever wanted me to stop working. But also when I say living my dream, like my dream is my job. So we just make it work. Like, it's just always we've been lucky that we've been able to, but also it kind of makes you so much more determined to like chase the work. I have, touch wood, been lucky that I've like make sure I have things in, because if I don't, then I'm like, okay, we need to email, we need to do this. I'm just that kind of person that I have to be busy all of the time.
So the outreach and stuff doesn't scare you at all, like putting yourself out there, just emailing and saying, look, I'm here, book me.
I mean, it did at first. I think like the first few times, that first initial kind of like, hi, you know, but then I think you just kind of go, well, you know, it is what it is. Like, what's the worst they can say? No, or not reply. And I think like we live in such a world of rejection anyway. That if they say no, then somebody else will say yes. And you just kind of go with that mindset.
touching on rejection and is such a scary thing for a lot of people. You are in a world where you just have to accept the rejection.
Yeah.
How do you think the first few times though you overcome that rejection instead of just going, look, everyone's saying no?
It's the hardest when there's a job or like a booking that you really, really, really want. And I'm quite a manifesty person.
Love
So
that.
I start to manifest and then I fully convince myself that I have that job.
Yeah.
So then in my head, I'm living the life like I have that job.
Mhm.
And then obviously like the further along the stages that you get, the more you've got it. You've
Yeah.
already spent the money. You know what you're doing. And then if you don't get it, it's like everything's shattered. But I've kind of taught myself now, have a 5-minute cry, move on. Something else is
Yeah.
coming. You can't dwell on that for too long. I think like for me, like I did dance competitions from being 3.
Yeah.
So if I didn't win, I didn't win.
Yeah.
And I think in a way, like in hindsight, that's probably trained me for like a good life
Yeah.
of rejection, you know? Like
You were almost prepared from a young age for it's a brutal world, the performing world, the musical theatre world. If anyone has been involved in it or has children in it, it
Mhm.
can be a brutal world.
Yeah.
It can tear you right down, but it can
Absolutely.
also build you up to the highest of
It
highs.
can, yeah.
So from a young age, you were, I suppose, ready for it,
Mhm.
ready for the.
And I couldn't imagine doing anything else. Like the rejection's horrible. It is. Like there's no way, like nice way to put that. But I think as long as you just kind of always see the positives, and even if you didn't get that job, well, you know what? They gave you some really good feedback. So take
Mhm.
that feedback and roll with it. And there's something else. And I strongly believe that like if it's meant to be, it's meant to be.
Yes.
So it's not going to pass by you if it's meant to be.
Yeah.
And there is a reason why you don't get the things that you maybe think you really need. Maybe you don't need it.
Maybe it's not
Yeah.
for you. Maybe it's not where you were meant to be headed
Mhm.
in that specific moment, I suppose.
Yeah.
I love what you said about have a 5-minute cry and pick yourself
Yeah.
up and carry on.
Yeah.
Has that always been your ethos or did that take a while?
No, that definitely took a while. I think like the first few like auditions after graduating, especially when they were like big Italia Conti. Yeah. So obviously like you're kind of trained for it like in drama school. Like they do mock auditions, but it's still a safe place. So
Yeah.
like it's not real rejection, you know? It's like my teacher said no. It's not quite the same. So like the first like real life auditions like in big buildings with some people who might have been graduated for a lot longer than you, they were scary. I remember getting off a train once, like for an audition, and a girl that I knew, who was going into the same audition, and she was like, she just finished playing Penny in Dirty Dancing, you know, the dancer.
Okay.
And she's so tall with like legs up to her ears and an amazing dancer. And I got off the train and I just thought, why am I like going into this room? Because why? But actually we both didn't get the job. So, you know, it like happens to both of us.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's definitely like a thing that I've learned.
Do you know what imposter syndrome?
Yeah.
Yeah. Is that something you think played a massive
100%.
part?
Not so much in like solo auditions.
Yeah.
I think I feel like I can be more confident if it's just me in a panel. But then sometimes there'll be like group rounds of like singing and acting. And I think when you can see other people and you think they're really good, but then you have to tell yourself, we've all been asked to be here, we're all here for like they all want us. Like, but it's the same with like gigs in like pubs or bars or restaurants.
Mhm.
Sometimes like it's awful. Like you might be singing and you think they're talking over there. Are they saying something bad about me? And you could do it literally for however, you could be have the most experience ever, but your brain would still tell you that.
Yeah. Do you think that when you sort of moved on and carried on through this career, you started doing your 5-minute cries, the idea of healing and things like that changed for you? So what does healing mean for you now? What does it look like?
I think it's just seeing the positives in everything. So whether that's kind of going, okay, this job didn't work for me, but if that had have happened, then I would have missed out on this, and then I would have missed out on that, and then that wouldn't have been the same, and then this would have been really hard to do. As much as it's like so hard to tell yourself those things, it's just kind of always realizing that like is Oh, getting a bit deep. Life is mapped out for
Okay.
you, and like you are just going on your path.
We are here to be deep, guys. We are here to be deep. It does get deep on the healing
Yeah.
chat. We know that. Like, healing is something different for everyone. It really is. It can manifest in many different ways.
Yeah.
But I think throughout journeys it changes as well. I think throughout everyone's life journey it changes. You have experiences that change your perception on it. To healing. Well, but going back to the run and things like that. Your dad obviously had to heal from this massive thing.
Yeah.
Do you have any stories about Henry and things like that?
I think it is hard because obviously he was still so young when his dad died. That a lot of his like life stories, like in kind of his core memories of what he remembers of his dad, was when his dad was ill. But something that he's kind of carried on is like his dad. So like the first time that like me, my brother and my sister turned 18 and we went to the pub and we had a wine or a beer or something with my parents for the first time, my dad every time without fail, oh, my dad didn't get to do this. This is really special. I've done something my dad didn't get to do. And I think that's kind of the way my dad's lived life. A lot of things that he's mainly through up for us, like little milestones with his children. Like when I got married, my dad didn't get to do this. He didn't get to come to my wedding, you know? And I think it's kind of like he's living life for his dad to kind of go, you do it. Like you go to your kids' weddings, like you watch your grandchildren grow up, you know?
Yeah, maybe a bit of the healing process for.
Yeah.
So your dad has done all these things with you guys and that has helped him heal and probably shown you guys a different side of your dad at points.
Yeah.
But do you think that it was for him to heal, or do you think it was a little bit of regret in your dad's side that your granddad didn't get to do those things with him?
Yeah, maybe a little bit of both. I think like my dad knows like out of his brothers, that my dad was kind of, it sounds horrible to say the luckiest because they all lost their dad, but because my dad was the oldest, he had the most time. And I think he really treasures that, and he like remembers everything he can about the time with his dad. So I think a little bit of both, him kind of making sure he is present for all of these things that his dad didn't want to miss out on, but did.
Yeah. So what do you think your granddad would have said? What do you think Henry would have said about you doing the Great North Run? Obviously, I know you haven't got any memories from it and you haven't got lots of stories, but this amazing man that you've been told about, do you think he would be proud?
I think so. I mean, like everybody is proud, like everybody who's here, and like especially when I told my dad that I was running for this charity as well. So I'd like to think that he'll like help me in any way he can on the day, get me through.
I'm sure he will. I'm sure he will be right beside you on the day. So how can people donate if they would like to?
So I have a page on Just Giving, and
Amazing.
I will link it.
We will pop that below, everyone, for you all. So for someone listening now who is looking to honour a loved one, or maybe even is looking to do something like the Great North Run to honour them, what would you say to them?
I think it's really precious to kind of choose a specific charity that is so personal and so like special to you and your family. And regardless to what that charity is, if you have a person in mind that you've chosen that for, that is enough, and enough to kind of warrant you doing what you're doing for the charity.
Amazing. So thank you for joining us on the Healing Chat by Delicious. Remember, healing isn't just a destination, it is a journey. So until next time, take care of yourself, because self-healing is not selfish, it is survival. Thank you.